Hey YouTube, Firestar307 here, and I have for you an Atlantean deck profile. I went out yesterday and picked up 3 of the decks and put together the first version of the deck. It's been doing pretty well so far with testing. I might make a few changes, but at the moment it's looking pretty good. Atlanteans are the new water archetype that's come out in the structure deck. There are 5 new cards. The big dragon, there's a spell card called Atlanteans, and then 3 other Atlanteans, which I'll show you here in a second. The first one is Atlantean Dragoons. When it is sent to the graveyard for the effect of a water monster, you can search any sea serpent from your deck to your hand, and while it's on the field, level 3 or lower sea serpent monsters you control can attack directly, and you run 3 of him. And then we have Atlantean Marksman, and his effect is when he inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can special summon another level 4 or lower Atlantean Sea Serpent type monster from your deck, except for himself. And then when he's sent to the graveyard for a water monster's effect, for the activation of a water monster's effect, you can destroy 1 set card your opponent controls, and run 3 of him also. And this one is when he's face up on the field, and this is Atlantean Heavy Infantry. You can normal summon 1 extra time if it's another Sea Serpent type monster. And when he's sent from your hand to the graveyard for the activation of a water monster's effect, you can destroy 1 face-up card your opponent controls, and you run 3 of him. And then 1 of Atlantean Attack Squad, and his effect is, while there's another Sea Serpent besides himself on the field, he gains 800 attack. So he's normally 14, but he goes up to 22 with the rest. And then Deep Sea Diva, this is an older card, but it also got reprinted in the structure deck. You run 3 of her, because she can special summon any level 3 or lower Sea Serpent type monster from your deck, so you can get herself, you can get any of the other Atlanteans I just showed you also, except for level 4. The other 2 you can also grab, and Attack Squad, but yeah. She leads you into a lot of the combos in this deck, which I'll show you in another video. You also run 2 Abyss Soldier. You can discard 1 water monster from your hand to the graveyard to return 1 card. Is it on the field? Yeah. On the field to its owner's hand. And yeah. So he lets you use your Atlanteans effects and remove problem cards like Zen Mains, whatever, and he's 1800. And then right now I'm trying out 1 Screech. This is also was a secret rare. It came in the structure deck. When he's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can send 2 water monsters from your deck to the graveyard. Usually you want to send the next card I'm about to show you, and then you can send your dead Undines or any of the other Atlanteans you need in the graveyard for Call of the Atlanteans. And then 1 Dragon Ice. This card, you can discard 1 card from your hand to special summon it to the field when your opponent special summons a monster. So he's really, really good. You can do this effect when he's either in your hand or the graveyard, so you can actually send himself to the graveyard to special summon him the first time. But he activates all the Atlanteans effects, so if he's in your graveyard and your opponent special summons something, you can just have him hit the field instantly. And then 3 Genix Undines, these also set off all your Atlanteans. When it's normal summoned, you can send any water monster from your deck to the grave to add 1 Genix controller from your deck to your hand. The important part is that you get to send a water monster, usually when you want to send Dragoons, so you can get Diva to your hand, but this is an amazing opening card. And then 2 Genix controllers for the Undine. That's the only reason they're here. You can do some synchro plays with them too. And 1 Birdman, there's an OTK you can do with Diva and Birdman if your opponent doesn't have a field. So he's very useful for other stuff too. And 1 Gorge, there's really not a whole lot of back row in here. 2 Call of the Atlanteans. This card lets you special summon 3 level 3 or lower Sea Serpent type monsters from your graveyard. But you can't special summon the turn you activate this card, so just activate it during your opponent's end phase, or during their turn if you really need the wall. And then 3 Salvages, grab back 2 water monsters with 1500 attack or less from your graveyard, grab back Divas, grab back most of the Atlanteans, grab back Undine if you need it. It's just really good. and then 1 Pot of Avarice. You can put back the divas you've already used. You can put back Abyss Warrior. You can put back Synchros and Exceeds. It's just good. Mind Control, you can exceed into most any rank 2 through 4, and then you run divas and controllers, so this card's good for that. And then Book of Moon, Heavy, Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, staples. And then for traps, we have 2 Mind Crush and 3 Spiritual Water Art. Owie. And this is pretty much Dust Shoot on crack. Spiritual Water Art lets you tribute 1 water monster you control to look at your opponent's hand and then discard 1 card. No, you don't even discard. You send it to the graveyard. So you have no like drawback against Dark Worlds or Fableds or, well, yeah, maybe. I don't remember Fabled's exact rulings, but you have no drawback against Dark Worlds at all because it says send to the graveyard. And then 2 Mind Crushes to combo with seeing your opponent's hand. If you open up Spiritual Water Art, Mind Crush, and Jinx Undine, you're like miles ahead of your opponent already because like even without these cards, you end up with 7 cards in hand with just summoning Undine. And that's if you don't do anything else. But if you set these 2, sure you might lose those 2 cards and the Undine, but your opponent, you know your opponent's plays, you know what's in their hand, and you just took out 2 pieces of it. If you open up all 3 of these, you should win the game almost unconditionally, unless they're playing like Chaos Dragons or something, and then they just draw BLS, Chaos Sorcerer, etc. But that's the main deck. It's probably still subject to change, but we'll see. It's working pretty well so far. The Screech, we'll see. It might get replaced with a Foolish Burial, because the main card I want to get in the graveyard is Dragon Ice, and Foolish Burial is more instantaneous, but we'll see. And then for the extra deck, we have 1 Gachi Gachi. You make it with your level 2 Atlantean and Divas, and then Daigusto Phoenix, which is part of the OTK. And then Leviathan. The Atlantean's effects also work with this guy, because they say when they are sent to the graveyard for the activation of a water monster's effect. So they're like Dandelion and Tour Bus when they're sent to the graveyard. So if for some reason you had a water monster that involved returning or removed from play a water monster in the graveyard, that would also work, because they're still being sent to the graveyard from somewhere. So this guy will set off your Atlantean effects. And then 1 Leviair, 1 10 Tempo, 1 Zen Mains, 1 Acid Golem. They don't work with Acid Golem though, because his effect doesn't activate. It's just a maintenance cost sort of thing. And then Evigashi Marrowgeist. Their effects do work with Marrowgeist if you use Marrowgeist's effect. And then Utopia, Gungnir. This also sets off your Atlanteans, and you can go Major Plus if you use this card with them, because you can discard, even if you discard 1 Atlantean, you're going to destroy 2 cards. So, and if you discard 2, you're going to destroy 3 or 4 even, depending on what you discard. And he also works with your dead controllers in hand, just for fodder to discard. Cataster, you run Diva in level 3, so there's that. And same with Librarian. Gaia Knight, this would be Bryanak, but you know it's banned now. Bryanak would have set all these guys off, which is, I think, why he got banned. But Gaia Knight, because you're on Mind Control and Diva and stuff. Black Rose, and then Stardust. This might be Scrap Dragon, or I might take something out for Scrap Dragon, but yeah, that's the extra deck is definitely subject to change still, but yeah, that's the Atlantean deck profile. I guess I'll have up a like how to play it video, like combos and stuff for you guys pretty soon. So yeah, like this video, subscribe, give all sorts of comments and feedback on this new deck that's out now that you can play. I think it'll be very competitive. And let me know what you think, YouTube. See you next video. Bye.